ain't never had a friend like me. Oh hi, my name is Jay, and for today's video I am going to share a ginormous book haul. So the majority of these books are from like this dollar bookstore that I randomly found at a mall, and I got super excited and I completely blanked out. I promised myself I wouldn't buy anything that day, and then I saw that bookstore and I ended up spending $20 on 20 books, which I think is a pretty awesome deal. The only bad thing is I used to have like 4 piles of books in my room. You can kind of see it right there. And I was able to bring it down to 3 piles, and I was so happy with myself. And then after I bought a bunch of books, I went back up to 5 piles, which is... So yeah, I have the majority of those books are from the dollar bookstore, but then I also have like gifts and also a couple of like Barnes & Noble bargain books that I picked up. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to split this into different categories, so let's go! The first book I have here is from L.J. Smith, and it is Dark Visions, and it is a collection of 3 books, all in one book. And if you have never heard of L.J. Smith, you probably have, but you just don't know. She wrote The Vampire Diaries, which is not my favorite series from her. My favorite series from her is Night World, but she is a like fantasy supernatural writer, and I haven't read her books in a super long time, so I am excited to dive back into her world. Next, I have Impossible by Nancy Werlin. I don't know a lot about this book. I picked it up because I thought the cover was pretty. But I looked it up, and I think it's about like a family curse or something, and there's like a romance plot line thrown into there. Next, I have Life of Pi by Yann Martel. This book has been out for a super long time, I think since I was in elementary school, and I never picked it up. But I watched the movie like a year or 2 ago, and I fell in love with it. The visuals are absolutely stunning, and I kind of love like the whole story and the theme. Next, I have Blood and Chocolate by Annette Curtis Klause, and this is a werewolf story. I have heard of this book. I know there's a film about it, but I haven't watched the film. I have already read this book, and you will know my opinions on it from my January book wrap-up, but here's a hint of what I thought about it. Next category! I have here Winter's Tale by Mark Halperin, and this is going to be an intense book to read. I did watch the movie. I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of weird how the story was told. I didn't understand how the magic kind of fit in to the story, so I'm hoping that the book will explain a lot of what the movie missed. Next, I have The Help by Catherine Stockett, and this is a movie starring, I believe, Viola Davis, Octavia Spencer, Emma Stone, and I did watch the movie and I thought it was absolutely fantastic. The cast was absolutely wonderful, and I am excited to read the book. Next, I have Still Alice by Lisa Genova, and this is a movie starring Julianne Moore, and I think it recently came out. I never got a chance to watch it. But I have been looking forward to reading this book even before I knew there was a movie about it. So, there's this. Next, I have One Day by David Nichols, and it is a movie starring Anne Hathaway. I did watch the movie because I love Anne Hathaway so much, but the movie just didn't cut it out for me. I just thought that the whole storytelling was kind of weird. So I am hoping that the book will be better. Next, I have The Blind Side by Michael Lewis, and this is a non-fiction book, and it stars Sandra Bullock, who is one of my favorite actresses of all time, and this is one of my favorite movies. So I'm really excited to read this one. Next category! I have here The Longest Ride by Nicholas Sparks, and the really cool thing about the bookstore that I went to was that they had like whole shelves filled with Nicholas Sparks novels, but I had most of them already, except for this one. This movie recently came out as well, starring Scott Eastwood and Britt Robertson, and I am currently in the middle of reading it right now. Next, I have 2 novels from Alice Sebold. I have here The Almost Moon, and I believe this is her memoir, and it is called Lucky. She wrote The Lovely Bones, and there was also a movie based on the film a couple years ago starring Saoirse Ronan. Next, I have 2 books from Kristen Hanna, who is a fantastic author who creates such wonderful stories and characters. So I have here Home Again, and I have True Colors. I have talked about her already, my favorite book from her so far, and the 2 books that I've read from her is Night Road. So if you should know anything about me, it's that Jodi Picoult is my absolute #1 favorite author. I have like a collection, you can see it right here, going on for her books, and they had so many, and I was so happy because they were all $1, and her books are expensive, so I was just ecstatic. I was able to get 5, so I have here Mercy, Songs of the Humpback Whale, Perfect Match, Plain Truth, and Picture Perfect. You should definitely pick up a Jodi Picoult book if you haven't already. I would suggest starting with My Sister's Keeper. That's kind of the first book that I read from her that really brought me into her world. Her characters are absolutely fantastic. Her stories are amazing, and it always involves like a twist at the end, and it's just absolutely fantastic trying to figure it out along the way. So, My Sister's Keeper. Start with that one if you haven't read any of her books. The first one is actually a gift that I'm giving to my friend, and it is Beautiful Disaster by Jamie McGuire. This is a new adult book that I've already talked about in past videos. It is one of my favorite new adult books. It's fantastic, and I know that she will love this novel. Next, I have 2 books that my cousin got me for Christmas. The first is It Always Seems Impossible Until It's Done by Catherine and Ross Petras. And this is kind of like a quote book to motivate you. So there's different quotes from various different people. And last, I have The Art of War for Writers, Fiction Writing Strategies, Tactics, and Exercises by James Scott Bell. And this is kind of like a take on Sun Tzu's The Art of War, but this is like a bunch of like writing advice for writers. Last category! Barnes & Noble sometimes has like bargain bins that are like 50% off, and because I'm a member I get an extra 10% off, which is fantastic, and a lot of the times they have so many books, so I was able to get a couple. I have 2 self-help books that I was really interested in. The first is The Happiness Makeover by MJ Ryan, and then I have Constructive Wallowing, How to Beat Bad Feelings by Letting Yourself Have Them by Tina Gilbertson. And then the other book I have here is A Daybook of Grace, A Year of Devotions to Draw You Near to the Heart of God. And this has like a daily devotional just to read and stuff, and it has like a little ribbon bookmark to help keep your place. And if you watched my New Year's resolution / goals for 2016, you would know that I am trying to get back in touch with my religion, so I thought that picking up kind of a thing that I would read every day would be kind of a nice way to ease myself back into it. I have 3 more books. This is the biggest book haul that I've probably ever done in the 3 book haul videos that I have done. I have here The Astronaut Wives Club, A True Story by Lily Koppel, and this is about like the wives of astronauts. And this book got a lot of attention when it first came out, and I had been meaning to pick it up, but then I forgot all about it, and then I saw this in the bargain section, and I was like, yeah, obviously I'm gonna buy it. Next, I have The White Princess by Philippa Gregory, and she is known for her Victorian novels. I've already read 2. I think her most famous one is The Other Boleyn Girl. And last, yay, I'm done! I have Something Borrowed by Emily Griffin, and this was a movie starring Kate Hudson and Ginnifer Goodwin, and I didn't really like the film. I did watch it, and maybe I will have to rewatch it again, but at the time I was just not really into it. So when I saw that there was a book, I didn't know that there was a book. I got excited. Alright everyone, so that's it. That was so intense. I don't know how many books are here. Probably almost 30, which I will hopefully read through 2015. I did say that I was trying to read 50 books this year, so hopefully I will finish these and I will bring down the piles of books in my room. Alright everyone, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you another time. Goodbye! In honor of me watching the final show at DC